our next guest is Dr. Joe Niamtu, and we've been talking already, and he was here all day yesterday.
I was doing this. I was doing the interviews yesterday. It's good to be in this seat.
Yes.
I'm going to make you do all the work.
Oh my gosh! And first, I want to just thank you for all your contributions to the aesthetic show. And we're going to talk about a topic that we both agree is so important. It's key to everything, which is managing patients' expectations.
You know, Tess, as you are well aware, one of the keys to having a successful practice and having good outcomes is selecting the right patients. And as any doctor will tell you, your patients can be the biggest joy in your life. They can be wonderful, or they can just suck the energy out of you and you go home beat up and
make you wanna quit. That's it. No, it's true.
Beat up and tired. So I think one of the big things is that, especially with younger practitioners, they don't have the experience, and we don't get any of this training in school, right?
We don't, yes.
And they don't have the experience sometimes to realize problematic patients. And when you first go into practice,
the red flags.
Yeah, well, the red flags. And when you first go into practice, you're just happy to see any patients,
yes.
Okay? But as you get a little bit older and get some gray hair or no hair, you start to realize some of these signs. And I think especially in what we do, cosmetic surgery, there's a whole different situation. So my background is maxillofacial surgery.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing trauma, somebody went through a windshield and had lacerations and facial fractures. They were just happy to be
put
improved,
together,
right?
yes.
But cosmetic surgery patients are extremely picky, and from the get-go, they're not happy with themselves. That's why they come, right? And so, being able to recognize these red flags is imperative. And I gave a lecture on this yesterday, and I think, and we can throw each other's red flags in here, but I think
give us your top.
Obviously the biggest thing is body dysmorphic disorder. And
it's real.
Yeah, and as you're well aware, that's somebody that has a minor or non-existent flaw that they feel has overcome their life. Mm-hmm. And if you do cosmetic surgery on that patient, you are actually doing them more harm than good. First of all, they're never going to be happy,
right? Because
they have this imagined situation. So you want to make sure that your patients are doing surgery for the right reasons. So that's a big thing. I think other red flags are, again, on the same vein, people that don't need surgery, people that feel that the surgery is going to just change their life. It's going to
bring back a spouse,
save a marriage, get a job promotion, this sort of thing. The response that I love to hear, okay, and again, facelift is my biggest procedure. Mm-hmm. So I do mostly aging face surgery. When somebody comes in and they says, "Hey, Dr. Joe, I'm not trying to look 20. I want to look as good as I can for 60.
Me too.
Bam,
that's my favorite. I'm like, great.
Right. So that's the perfect response. And some of the other things, people that are too busy for cosmetic surgery, people that there's a lot of personality things. They come in, they don't want their pictures taken.
They don't want to sign, things, certain things about your consent.
And people that just, they don't get it. In other words, you go over all this stuff and they keep asking the same questions. And I don't mean this like we're talking negative about our patients, because I love my patients, and fortunately, these are a small group, and one thing is, as you know, 1% of your patients can cause 99% of your problems. So just as a patient does a lot of research to pick a doctor, the doctor and the staff need to do a little bit of research on this patient to make sure you're doing the appropriate, the right thing on the right patient. And one thing I've learned, and I bet you're going to echo this, is listen to your staff.
Yes,
right?
I was just going to say that, because they screen. They really get the real personality, because sometimes there are patients who will come in and they're so nice to you.
Yeah.
They're, but then they're rude or condescending to your staff, and I definitely take that into consideration. You kind of have to be a lot more careful with those patients. Well, what about the millennials? Is there something different and more, more challenging with this different group of patients?
There is no doubt about it that it's a different ball game, okay? So, first of all, millennials, by definition, have never been without digital technology.
Right.
And they are so used and keyed in to what I call Amazon mentality. Your Amazon Prime,
Yes.
one click, right?
Right now, tomorrow.
So the biggest things that I see is, number one, they don't want to come in for a face-to-face consult. They want to do a Skype consult or a FaceTime, and they want to do everything digital. Number two, and I just saw a really good article that was just published about selfies, okay? So first of all, as a selfie distorts your view in the first place. And so people look at this and they think that they have things that they don't see.
Yes.
I mean, they think that they have problems that aren't there.
And then they have all of the filters.
I have all the filters, and there is actually a condition called Snapchat dysmorphia, okay?
I can see how that can happen.
And when somebody comes in and they start going like this, they come in
Red
for
flag.
lip injections or
Right.
whatever.
This is what I want.
And they're going like this, and so if a person has 200 selfies of themselves, they may have a little bit of body dysmorphic tendency. Number two, then they get into the other group of pictures of what they want to look like, right? And I always tell people, I said, look, I can make you look better.
Yeah.
I can't make you look like somebody else.
Best version of you, but not someone else. I mean, and this is, if you're a good and honest doctor, that's kind of what you would want for your patients. You don't really want to alter them. And what about educating and giving them proper, expectations of what the treatments are supposed to give?
Right, and I think that first of all, usually people that seek somebody out there doing it for your experience. So if you're experienced, you should have a pretty good collection of before and after pictures, all right? And I tell people, whether it's facelift, whether it's eyelids, whether it's fillers, go look at my gallery on my website. I have 9,000 pictures on my website.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So, and I say, you're gonna find somebody that looks like you, and you're gonna see an average or a norm. Now, I think another thing, Tess, on this vein, is when you have to tell a patient no, okay?
So important.
And, first of all, we are keyed up as doctors to help everybody, right? Not turn anybody away. But as we stated, if you're doing the wrong procedure on the wrong patient, you can actually do them harm.
And I think the older you are and the more experience you get, the more comfortable you are about saying no.
Yeah, well, you are, and it's hard to do when patients are young. So the other day, I had a patient come in. She wanted to do a brow lift, upper lids, lower lids, cheek implants, facelift, and laser. She told me two things. Number one, I only want my husband to think I'm doing cheek implants. And number two, I don't want anybody to know I had surgery.
What?
And
So-
that's not going to be
Yes.
a good experience.
That's a
So
red flag.
from the get-go, you just have to tell these people. And I'm so honored when patients come to me, but I don't want to do them a disservice. And
Correct.
sometimes I'll just tell a patient, look, I think you're a wonderful person. I'm so honored you came to me. I don't think I can do what you want to be
And
happy.
I'm not the doctor for you.
Or
this is not the practice
the precision.
for you.
And every once in a while that might put somebody off, but I've actually had people thank me and write a nice review.
No, it's true. I think after a while, integrity is everything.
Right,
And
and
so,
I've seen patients, as you have, who maybe you're seeing them for a third opinion, and their first two opinions want to do A, B, C, D,
Yes.
all this stuff, and I say, look, you don't need that. Don't do it. Wait 10 years, right?
Correct. Well, now let's talk about what keeps you ticking.
Okay.
You just keep going and going. Come
Well,
on.
you know what?
What's exciting for you?
I consider myself a surgeon, a teacher, an author. I'm immersed in cosmetic facial surgery. I love it. And when I talk to high school students or people about motivation or anything, I say, what is success? And success for me is when you go to bed on Sunday night and you're excited to go to work on Monday. And
Wow.
you know, my favorite procedure is facelift procedures. I've done over 1,200 lifts. I do 2 or 3 a week. Anything from here to here that is surgical, you know, and surgeons love surgery. I love my staff, I love my patients, and I hope I can do this till I just fall over.
And you will. Thank you so much.
Hey Tess, it was always good to see you. It's always great to be at the aesthetic show. It's only 110 right now.
Let's just stay in here.
In Las Vegas,
It's
yeah, but it's pretty
comfortable.
cool. All right, Tess, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.